All right, let's get started, folks. I hope you're doing great today. Coach Micheal Burt. We're live streaming this on Facebook. I'm here at the Lodge today going through certification with a group of coaches who want to be certified in our content and they want to learn how to make money with coaching. If you've ever had a desire to do that, I say there's two reasons that you get certified. One reason is you want to master content. You really want to go deeper in something, which should lead to more money. I was certified in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, DISC certification. I got all kinds of certifications. And many of them I use just to be a better coach at the end of the day, right? And that should lead to more money. The second reason a person gets certified is because they want to make money with coaching. And what I'm trying to do is grow this group of coaches up that I could actually give them coaching leads that they could close and help us coach. Okay, but to do that, we got to work through the cycle. And so that's what I'm doing here at the Lodge over the next couple of days. Now, today we're going to talk about how to take discouragement and turn it into encouragement. How do we take discouragement and turn it into encouragement? And this is really a flip the switch moment. Yesterday, Rory Vaden came to me and he said, Coach, the first 4 weeks of this year, the Wall Street Journal number is trending up, meaning the number I gave you in November and December to hit the bestseller list is trending up. And I think you need about 500 more individual units sold. And I was like, for the love of God, Rory, like we're 7 days before this book comes out, like give me a freaking break here. And James Garcia, I had a moment of discouragement where I'm like, just forget it, man. I pushed as hard as I could freaking push. I'm on here doing Zooms at 9 o'clock at night. I'm on a podcast tonight at 9 o'clock. I'm up at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning. And man, I just felt discouraged. How many of you guys have ever felt like that before? And then I started thinking, okay, what do I teach other people when it comes to Pray Drive? And what I teach is when in doubt, take an action. And motivation means to move. And initiate means to, right? Like initiate means to start. So what can I do right now to move this from discouragement to encouragement? Okay. And I go, okay, who have I not tapped into? Has every monster producer bought a book? Have I been on team Zooms with people? Have I reached out to my famous friends to promote on social media? And after just a few minutes, I had a list of people that I was messaging. I had, movement. I got on Zoom and did a Zoom last night and picked up another 10 or 15 copies. And so what I did is I started going, okay, what has always served me the best when I was discouraged? When I was depressed, when I was 25 years old, I was clinically depressed. Sick every morning. The only thing that got me through that depression was work. I worked 18 to 20 hours a day. Okay. Coach Breeden coached at Riverdale for a long time. I literally would get to my office in the morning. There's an indoor pool at Riverdale. I would get to my office at 5 in the morning. I would swim for 30 or 40 minutes. And then I would start my work day. And I would literally work until I was exhausted. Because if I was exhausted, I couldn't think about my heartbreak. I couldn't think about my depression. I couldn't think about making bad decisions. So I would literally fall asleep in my office and I would get up the next morning at 5 o'clock and I would do it all over again. And I literally just worked like that for 6 months. And the only thing that got me through that was work, right? That's why I'm like, man, what do I need to do right now? I don't need to be discouraged. I need to move. I need to get encouraged, which means to give courage. Okay. Now, from being in my coaching programs, or if you're not in my coaching program, you know that you don't start with confidence. You don't even start with courage. You start with what? Commitment. You don't start with courage. See, a lot of people don't make decisions because they say, I don't have the courage to do it. You don't start with courage. You see, that's the first mistake you got. The first thing you do is you start with a commitment to something. I'm going to commit to doing this. I don't feel like it. Okay. Like me doing a Zoom last night at 9 o'clock or me doing a Facebook, I was agitated. I'm like, man, come on. Surely to God, with 400,000 people following me, we can get 500 people to buy this daggum book. Like it's $26. So what I did is I just got on there and I did a little coaching session. And then we moved some books. And people said, man, I'm gonna buy the book. I'm gonna do this thing, So here's the deal. I went from being discouraged to encouraged. And I got a good night's sleep. And I woke up this morning more encouraged. Everybody see that? See, sometimes when you don't know what to do, you do something. And that is what I'm trying to say in this book is you take an action. Okay. So I started, see, you could tell me I've maxed out all of my resources, and that is not true. You have not maxed out all of your resources. You haven't picked up the phone and called all of your contacts. You haven't engaged with everybody in your network. You have got so many undercapitalized assets. Everybody see that? You got so many undercapitalized assets you haven't even tapped into. And the fear, or in this case would be embarrassment, the fear and the embarrassment is actually needed to peak up to another level. Does everybody see that? The reason a coach prepares like they do, guys, is because they don't want to be embarrassed by losing. It's embarrassing when you lose, especially if you're a winner. So what the coach does is they take one more rep. See, the parents used to be mad at me when I was a basketball coach because I keep the kids over late. And a parent came to me and said, Coach, why do you tell us we're going to be done at 6 when we're not done until 7:30? Like, man, I sit in the parking lot for an hour and a half waiting on my kid. Why don't you just tell me? I said, here's what I do. Whatever I tell you, add an hour to it. I said, because we ain't going home until we get it right. And parents hated that. Now I have a kid, and now I understand. Because if they stayed an hour and a half after practice, I'd be sitting in the parking lot like, what's going on? Was it coach crazy? So my point is, we're going to go until we figure this out. Right? We're going to go until we figure this out. Now, how many people use that in business? Man, I didn't hit my sales goals, but I'm just going to take it to the house today. Man, I didn't sell anything today, but I'm just going to shut it down because I'm hungry. Man, I'm going to do this. See, prey drive is instinct. The lion goes into the jungle, and if you don't kill the prey, the family don't eat. Okay? What if you were facing losing everything that you have? What if you didn't have enough money to put food on the table? What if they started mentally, right? One of the concepts we talk about in the book, mental subtraction. What if you started mentally subtracting things that you love? What if I had to go to my wife and tell her we got to sell this lodge because we didn't hit our sales numbers this month? See, now my because goal kicks in, and now it's like, let's go do this. Okay? Like, I'm going to call somebody, follow up with somebody, close somebody, convert somebody. See, now my creativity is kicking in. And where did the creativity come from? Fear. So is fear a great motivator for prey drive? Absolutely. Fear of going back to where you used to be, fear of not having anything, fear of being embarrassed, fear of whatever. See, what we got to do is we got to convert those things. So when I'm teaching a person, how do I go from discouragement, which means to take courage away? I am discouraged, to encouragement, to where I am encouraged to go do it. And what flips that switch? There's one thing: action. Moving from pouting to acting. See, that's what flips the switch. I moved from, hey man, it's hard to sell something right now, to, you know what? That's sewer cycle talk right there. This is hard. It ain't gonna work. Nobody's buying it. I've never sold anything this hard. I've never done this. 2, there's 7 billion people on planet Earth. We have a special skill set. There is no shortage or lack. There is only a shortage of creativity and follow-up. See, now I'm getting into action, and I'm getting out of discouragement. Okay. And I'm moving to encouragement. So here's a question for you. How do you motivate yourself when you don't have somebody there to motivate you? See, I'm about to go on the road on Friday. Orlando, I'll be gone for 8 days. Orlando for 3 or 4 days. Okay. No offense to anybody in Orlando. I love the people in Orlando, but it is one of my least favorite cities in the United States. Okay. I don't know why. It's just not one of my favorite cities to visit. Okay. Then I'm going to Miami, which is one of my favorite cities to visit. So you got to kind of take the good with the bad. I love the people in Orlando. I don't like the city that much. So when you think about it, I'm going to be gone for 8 days. Let me ask you a question, Micheal, right? You think there's going to be some days I wake up and go, man, this is hard. Now,
Absolutely.
I ain't my kids. I got to speak to 12,000 insurance agents. I got to get this offer right. We got a big opportunity here. See, there's going to be days I wake up discouraged, and I got to activate my prey drive because people are counting on me to perform at a very high level. And so now I got to figure out a way to encourage myself. So how many of you think self-talk is one of the most important things you'll ever do? How you talk to yourself, Gabriel, what you say to yourself. And that's why I love the analogy of sewer cycle versus success cycle. Sewer cycle starts with that negative thought. It's going to be hard. I don't know if I can do it. It's doubt. It's insecurity. It's right. And what I got to do is I got to move to confidence. And the way I move to confidence is I commit to something, man. I'm gonna get up and call people. I'm gonna get up and initiate. I'm gonna get up and follow up. I'm gonna get up and see this through to its conclusion. People are counting on me. I came too far to get to this point to stop. We don't limp across the finish line. So part of this concept of flipping the switch, I haven't talked about this much with you guys, but is what I call calling on the prey drive when you need it. Okay. Now in my car, in the Range Rover, it's got these different things. The G-Wagon has these different things, the Range Rover, but it has different settings. One setting is sport. One setting is rugged. One setting is you climbing a mountain. And when I was getting that Range Rover a few years ago, the way they sold that Range Rover to me, Jeff, you're a car guy, you'll appreciate this, is they got a little mountain out at the Range Rover dealership of rocks. And what they do is they put you in that Range Rover and they say, let me show you this. They take that Range Rover up on that little mountain and you're literally on the side of that mountain and you feel like it's going to flip over. And the Range Rover guy drove it up on the side of the little mountain in the car lot. And we're sitting there like this. And he's like, look, man, I'm going to put it in park. I'm going to put it in park right now. And you're going, and we're just going to sit here. And he's like, look at how this thing is manufactured, Coach. Look at how it climbed up these rocks. Look at how it's sitting like this and it don't flip over. And I thought it was the coolest car experience I'd ever had because it was experiential. And the car has, he's like, and I don't even know how to use all of it, guys. He's like, when it's raining, do this. When it's snowing, do this. When you want to go back roads, you do this. When you want to take it on the interstate, and it's got all these little settings. A pilot in the cockpit has an attitude indicator. And the attitude indicator tells you, are you ascending, plateaued, or landing? I think a prey drive like this is I got to call on that special setting to get up to this level, to peak up, even when I don't feel like it. It's game day. I'm performing. I rest, I practice, and I perform. Did everybody see that? I rest, I practice, and I play. And when I play at such a high frequency that the energy just emanates to the group. Okay. And it's like, man, we want some of that energy. We want some of that mindset. We want some of these concepts. We want some of these ideas. We want some of these strategies. So for you, when I'm out there on the road and I feel discouraged, man, I'm in a city, I got to do this for 3 or 4 days. How do I call? We're going to call that call on that prey drive. And I want you to think of it like a setting. Tim Grover mentioned it during Activate. You can dim it. You can calm it down. You can turn it up. Do you guys really think Michael Jordan felt like performing at that level every night? Can you imagine playing 82 games in a season and then having to play another 20 or 30 games in the playoffs and do that for 12 years? Can you imagine as an NFL player getting beat up like that every Sunday and having to come back in on Monday and do it again? Can you imagine, right? This is the toughness it takes to fight through your feelings. So why do amateurs listen to their feelings? Because they become victims to their moods and their feelings. Okay, they become victims and they go to that sewer cycle and they start talking negative thoughts. It's interesting, Craig. I don't know if I told you this, Craig, but there's a lot of people have worked for me in my lifetime. Eric's seen these people. They typically last about 2 years. And at the 2-year mark, they go, I'm out. Here's what they say. Love you, Coach Burt, but I cannot go at this pace. And you know what they almost always do? They go back to something that's comfortable. They go back to a job that's easy. They go back to something they did in the past. Here's what they told me when they came to me, Angela Baker. I hate doing that. I hate doing that. Like, I'm coming to you because I want to go to the next level and I want to play at a freakish level. And I'm bored I'm stuck, I'm complacent, I'm in a rut, and I want to leave all that and come work for you. And then 2 years after working with me, guess what they do? They go back to that miserable job they had. You know why? Because it's easy.
5 years.
It's comfortable.
Coach, I can't imagine working somewhere where there's no accountability. You're not, I mean, if you didn't push me every day, I'd be starving on the side of the road somewhere. If I'd went to a Nissan dealership coming out of the job I had before, instead of coming to you, I'd be broke right now.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's the truth. Right.
So that's why environment is so important, but it's interesting. I don't get mad at those people. I just say, man, you just ain't got what it takes to play in the pros. You know, when you get up to the pros, you know, some people stay 30 days in the pros and then they get demoted back down to the minor leagues. And the minor league people make minor league money because they never play in the pros. They're playing in little ballparks where 500 people show up to watch them because they can't figure out how to get to the pro level. Well, a lot of it has to do with this tool. Austin, Fisk, you see what I'm saying here? This tool that I use on how I flip discouragement to encouragement. Because I have discouragement just like you do. I want to give up some days just like you do. I want to throw in the towel just like you do. Okay. I tell people, man, I could make $1 million a year with no team, no staff, no nothing, just speaking with a little assistant. But that ain't what I'm made. That's what I'm not hardwired for that. I want to do something bigger. Okay. And to do something bigger, I got to sacrifice some things and I got to suck it up and I got to fight through my feelings and I got to, Tommy Davidson calls it, get to the other side. And the other side is where the big payday is, right? So for you, how many of you, this is a challenge with you? You don't know how to call on your pray drive like you need to. Okay. How many of you, you know, going at a comfortable pace, making good money, operating at a low, you know, fairly good level, but you're not in the winner's circle. And you're not in the winner's circle because you don't know how to peak up, man. You don't know how to fight through these feelings. You don't know how to lose one and just keep going. Lose one and keep going. Lose one and keep going. Okay. And that's really what I think the book is going to help us do. It's going to help us move from A to B. And on days you feel discouraged, typically I can listen to something, a YouTube video for literally Johnny Sheehan. I can listen to something for 5 minutes. If it's the right person, reactivate my pray drive. Okay. It's like I'm discouraged. I hear somebody talk about something, boom, I'm encouraged. Okay. I'm encouraged. And sometimes it's an attitude. Attitude is a posture of the body represented by a physical state. All of us have had a bad attitude at some point. Okay. We've had a bad attitude toward people. We've had a bad attitude toward an assignment. We've had a bad attitude toward the adversity. We've had a bad attitude toward our spouse and kids. We've all had a bad attitude. What changes that attitude is awareness. Man, I got a bad attitude right now. I'm mad at people. I'm cynical. I'm struggling. So what do you do when you have a bad attitude? Lose yourself in service to other people. That's what you do. You don't focus on you. You focus on them. How do I help these people get to a better place? How do I help these people get to a top level? How do I focus on their ambitions versus my ambitions? And that's how you flip a bad attitude to a good attitude. You know, me and my wife, when we hit a hard time, here's what my wife says to me. You're going to figure it out. Because you always figure it out. She said, no matter what comes our way, we've had days where we lost $700,000. We've had days where we had to pay $600,000 to get rid of evil people. We've had days where we had knockdowns. And you know what she says? You're always going to find a way to win. You're always going to find a way to win. Okay. Because that's who you are. Now, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Great people develop a concept of themselves that cannot be broken by other people. Does everybody see that? If you develop a concept of yourself, I'm always going to figure it out. No matter what comes our way, we will figure this out. That concept is hard to be broken by somebody else. And over a period of time of figuring it out, guess what you develop? Demonstrated capacity, confidence, unbreakable confidence, confidence to know, faith, confidence, belief, but that takes some knockdowns. It takes some knockdowns to ever get through those emotions to say, man, I'm gonna figure this out. I just ain't figured it out yet. Where there's a will, there's always a way. Okay. So today's lesson is encouragement, discouragement. I woke up discouraged. I went to bed discouraged. Okay. And I don't believe you should go to bed discouraged and angry. The Bible says, well, don't let the sun go down in your anger. You can be angry, but don't be. Micheal, what does it say? Because I was listening to something on anger the other day. The Bible doesn't tell us not to be angry. It tells us don't give a foothold to Diablo, which is the devil.
Correct.
And what it's saying is don't go to bed on anger, because the devil's doing work on the mind when you go to bed on anger and you don't even know it. If you study the subconscious mind, you'll understand that. This is why somebody like a Sullivan would teach you, focus on 3 wins you got today before you go to bed. Focus on the 3 wins you're going to get tomorrow right before you go to bed, and let the mind work on those things versus giving a foothold to the negativity. Okay. Now, if you're a faith-based person, give a foothold to Diablo, the devil. And you do that through your conscious thought, right? I got negative thoughts. Like last night, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, how are we going to hit this book deal? How we go sell 500 copies in the last week? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? See, my mind was just racing. When in doubt, take action. Exhaust your resources. Tap into your networks. Ask people for help. Keep going, okay? Now, we got some new people on here. Eric White, we got some new people on here today. Austin Fisk, is this your first time with me, or you been on here? You been on? Okay, good. Sheehan, Johnny Sheehan, he's new. Welcome him to the list. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do 1 more week of Pray Drive for Lunch next week. Then I'm going to move to 8 weeks of It's Not Your Mama's Book Club. Okay, so what we're asking, if you have not bought the book, okay, and I think most of you have, but if you have not, boom, go get it. Because the 2nd week of February, Pray Drive for Lunch moves to Not Your Mama's Book Club. 8 weeks on the book. I'm going to be reading it with you. We're going to go through it. I'm going to extract key points from it. We're going to talk about it. And I don't know that an author, Craig, I was telling somebody the other day, I bought thousands of books in my life. And I don't ever remember an author, Jeff Breeden, spending 8 weeks for free on breaking a book down for somebody. And that's what I'm going to be doing starting the 2nd week of February. Is everybody that buys the book is going to get access to that 8 weeks of coaching with me. And it's the cost of the book, whatever the book is on Amazon, $26. Okay. And trust me, I ain't making a fortune off that book. I think my royalties maybe 35% on that book. So it ain't like Coach Burt's making millions of dollars off the book. It's really, I believe the book can change a person's life. I really do. I believe the book's going to open your mind. The coaching will change your life.
I think it's practical application. You know, a lot of times you'll read something in theory and then you'll forget to apply it. You know, just like Micheal Burt School of Speaking and Writing, when people come here, we press hard on preceding, you know, the notion of what you're trying to accomplish, the outcome, and then having a follow through at the end of that, making sure that you got on a coaching call so you could implement the strategies that you've learned. Having a book and an author or somebody like this going through it with you brings it to just the next level. So, I mean, it's really under marketed, frankly, as something that we'll put a little bit more emphasis in this past week, or in this next week coming up. But essentially thinking of it, you know, it's literally you have a tutor going through helping you implement strategies and marketing ideas and pushing you. And like we told you guys, this is all going to go away. You're going to have to pay to play in the future. So, and many of you are on some of our reoccurring subscription stuff where you paid for something in the future. But, you know, as this is going on, this is a great opportunity. Many of you have already messaged me. I've been sending emails out. If you have not got some of that, I have a few backed up emails. But if you wanted to be in the book launch team, help get some of those assets that I produced, there's some audio, the manuscripts there. Just message me, Craig at Coach Burt. Let's continue to push. We definitely need your help. This is not an easy task, but I'm pretty confident we're going to hit. We have a lot of ideas and ways we're going to go through it. And I think we're going to get better, you know, actually people buying in the week closer to launch. It's under 7 days. Where you guys can go book and get an order. So that's where we're at. So continue to push, but email me, Craig at Coach Burt. Some of you might have already done that. I do have people being added to our CRM and sending messages out. So if I didn't get you yet, you probably will receive it by the end of the day.
Yeah. And if you got people you want me to speak to as far as teams, I was doing teams this morning, team Zooms. We move a lot of books that way. So if I've got a Zoom with 45 people, you know, 25 of those people may buy a book. That moves 25 units just like that. And so that's a good way of doing it. Just getting me in front of people. You know, if you got people you know, that you want me to do something for, then please make sure you ask that. All right. What's some takeaways from today? James Garcia, what's the takeaway for today on discouragement to encouragement by taking an action and calling upon a pray drive like it's a dial on a car? What are you taking away from that?
Can't sit around and be discouraged all the time. When we figure out we are discouraged, we have to step up and take an action. May not be the right action, but we need to take an action versus just sitting there.
That's right. And the term there, James, is inertia. I think it was Roosevelt that said the best action you can take is the next right action. The second best action you could take is the wrong action. The worst thing you could do is take no action. And I think when I'm like last night, I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? It's 9 o'clock at night, man. I could text people. I could reach out to, I got some famous friends that can promote the book. I'm like, man, I need to reach out to these people. I'm going to get online and do a Facebook Live right now. I'm just going to talk about it, man. I'm trying to move 500 units of the book. I don't know who wants to help me. If you're out there and you want to help me. So a woman who bought 250 copies, Diva, who's in our coaching program, went in and bought 8 more copies last night. So she bought 258 copies, right? And she's like, man, I believe in supporting people. Relationships matter. And so, you know, I mean, it's just like, so that did produce fruit. Okay. And that's what I want you to understand. The salesperson that gets caught in inertia, it has a resistance to move. And what they're doing is they're just sitting in that. It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What can I do? If you don't know what to do something. Call a current client, call a past client, pick up the phone, text somebody. That's really what I'm saying when I'm saying when in doubt, take an action. Craig, you want to add something there? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah. Jeff Breeden just messaged. He was thinking about writing a review. Guys, on that, and sorry, it's not on your particular subject. I was just responding to him. Don't write reviews until the 31st. You know, essentially, they don't want you guys going into those places because they don't know that you have the book yet or you have the manuscript, so it looks a little funky. So yeah, just make sure you wait till the 31st, and wherever you purchase the book, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, that's where you'd want to go and leave a review, and make sure you're signed in, just so you could have a purchaser have a verified review. That's the way that helps for sure. But yeah, I will be sending information to everybody regarding the the launch team, and if you need assets. And Coach and I just talked last night a little bit about kind of what he just mentioned. If we can get in front of your audience, a lot of times just sharing a picture may not go somewhere, especially something that's been doctored, photoshopped, edited, because the algorithm doesn't go far. But what may be worthwhile, if you feel like you have an engaged audience, people that would comment and like your stuff when you're live, let's get in touch with me, Craig at Coach Burt, and let's talk about maybe having Coach host on your channel, or we do a video recorded Zoom series. I told him maybe we just buckle down a few hours one of these days and just back to back, get some recordings with you guys. You guys can ask him some questions and highlight him on your channel. And that might just be a better organic way of getting him in front of your audience. Maybe it's not live, but it's recorded and it's you and him kind of going back and forth. So just some thoughts as we're kind of brainstorming. And so if you're interested in that, just shoot me a message, Craig at Coach Burt.
Yeah, Tim, to your point, I think if the way Amazon factors this in, because we're learning a lot about this process for all of you guys when you try to go do this, is if it all goes to the same address, it's counted as one unit, one buying unit. So if you buy 5 copies, it does move copies of the book, which is good. Amazon, I think the way Amazon counts it is it all goes to the same address, so it's just one purchase. And I don't think that's really fair, to be honest with you. If you buy 5 books, it's 5 units, but that's the way Amazon's counting it.
We need books too, guys, not the PDF or not the Audible or whatever is there. It has to be the hardcover for this one account. So and if you bought the hardcover and you're really about a PDF life, we can definitely get you that manuscript if you need it. So don't worry about that. Just get the hardcover for us, and we'll get you the electric version.
Okay, good session today, guys. Now, attitude, just remember this. I tell my 10-year-old daughter this all the time. Attitude, my best definition of attitude is this. Attitude is a posture of the body represented by a physical state. An airplane has an attitude indicator, and that indicator tells you, are you ascending? That means you're going places. You're going up, you're climbing. Plateaued, you're at your altitude, or you are landing, which would be descending. Energy is dynamic, static, or entropic. Okay, so Micheal said to me, what problem does the book solve? And I said, it solves the problem of complacency and for people who want to find another gear, which puts them in an ascending position. The attitude indicator is I'm open, we're going places, come and go with us. It's going to be awesome. It's not stuck or static, or it's not entropy. It's not declining. That's the 3 states of energy. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for another good session. Hey, check that attitude indicator today. All right. Cause mine needed a little reset last night. And so I got it, got a good night's sleep, woke up feeling better. Now we're in the fight. It's going to be a fight. Thank you, James. Now hey, it's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win, folks. That's what you got to remember. Okay. Great Wednesday. See you next Wednesday, guys. Love you.